Council, now it's time to move to item number 8. And this refers to the report I circulated to advance community infrastructure. And I'll just say that this is installment number 1 of a planned series of such moves. I think we all felt a sense of having ourselves stalled a little bit during the last year of pandemic. And I think with all the vaccines pouring into Canada, it's time to start thinking about moving forward in an even stronger way than we did during the pandemic. I am very proud of the way the town kept moving forward, even through the adversity of the pandemic, on the projects that were allowed to go ahead, finishing, for example, a community center, which was widely appreciated and celebrated in Southeast Oakville. And I understand from Councillor Liz Chinna that she would like to make a few remarks about the inclusionary element of this report. Councillor Liz Chinna?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge Annie Wang and members of the Iroquois Ridge High School Gender Sexuality Alliance. It's a school organization that educates students about and supports students of the 2S LGBTQ plus community. And the Alliance, along with their allies, including the following schools: Blake Lock High School, Oakville Trafalgar High School, Abbey Park High School, Garth Webb High School, and White Oak Secondary School, wrote to you and me asking about the Rainbow Crosswalk initiative. And I'm pleased to see it in this report, and I think it's an opportunity for council to continue the good work we've been doing with diversity and inclusion in our town, and I hope everyone is supportive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I was very struck by the way the high school students made special note that they wanted this to reflect not just the I'll get it wrong if I try to say it, the LGBTQ, but also BIPOC and other races. And so the super inclusionary nature of it was, I thought, very it was very good of the kids to bring forward that. Is there a mover and seconder for this report? Councillor Sandu and Councillor Palmer, thank you. Any objection to the motion?
Sir, Your Worship, I just had a comment, if you don't mind, before that happened.
I don't mind at all. I welcome a hand no matter when.
I just wanted to say how great it is, I think, that about the skate park over at on Cornwall. I know in Brawny, the skate park that we have over here, the kids flock to it. We have semi-pros now in the day who come, and they do moves that would blow your head off. And there are kids, 6, 7, 8-year-olds who come and just sit down and watch what's going on there. It's taken away from so much antisocial behavior that we had. It's a place for kids to go, and I think it is an absolutely incredible addition to the town. And I'm so happy to see another one of these coming in another area. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Councillor. As a matter of fact, the location that the young man, Crawford Hughes, who brought to our attention, Chris Mark told me is the only other place in town that the staff were able to identify that was far enough from homes that that skate park wouldn't cause, outrage and complaints. And another councillor here tonight and I went through quite an education about how far from homes skate parks have to be. A few years ago when we built one, what we thought was a perfectly good, very large community park, but apparently not quite big enough. Councillor Haslett-Gill.
Thank you, Mayor Burton, and thank you for your leadership in bringing this forward. And Councillor Mira, thanks very much for being so enthusiastic about the skateboard park, because in taking a walk with Mayor Burton, we not only had the young man who so eloquently delegated 2 years ago join us, but a young boy who is so super excited to have this in his neighborhood potentially. And this past year, when you think about what families have gone through and about COVID and about mental health and about healthy outlets, this is a great example of us stepping up to encouraging them to have those healthy outlets and listening to their desires to be a part of the process. And my hat's off to Crawford, because he really did champion this for his peers, not just and the next generation, not just for himself.
Thank you, Councillor. You know, it occurs to me from what you reminded me of something. A lot of kids from all over town are going to Shell Park because it's the only place like it. And we'll repatriate some kids from the eastern side of town, I imagine. I expect there'll even be some skateboard tourism coming from the west of town, because all of our facilities are available to everybody. We don't check your neighborhood passport at the door or the gate. Councillor Chisholm?
Thank you, Worship. With respect to the skateboard park, I think this is a wonderful addition to the Central East area of Oakville. As you know, Your Worship, I'm not taking credit, but I project managed the one at Shell Park, and it is a very challenging and rewarding facility that we put in place, knowing that the kids were involved with the planning of that. And I think that the only message I would leave to all of the staff and to council is that when we're starting to plan this skateboard park, have the kids involved in the planning of the ramps and what should be involved in it. If you don't do that, you're not going to be successful. So that's the best practices when we did Shell Park. So my hat's off to your worship, your leadership, and the inclusion of this skateboard park. I'm really excited to see that come into effect in the area. Congratulations to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chisholm. My oldest daughter was involved in that Shell Park, and she still gives you a very good report for the way you worked with the kids. So,
well, I'm not taking credit.
that.
The kids were fantastic.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, just an aside, not to take too much of council's time, one of the individuals who were helped plan on that, we were using plasticine on a piece of plywood. That young gentleman got into the business and has been very, very successful internationally in the development of skateboard parks across the world. He's involved now. He's a consultant. So there you go. There's a good news story to it.
An economic development angle that I didn't know about. Thank you for that. All right, may I, Councillor Hazlitt-Thiel.
Sorry, Mayor Burton, I did mean to say one other piece, and that is that the downtown BIA, and I know the other BIAs are excited to have the rainbow crossings. And I think the fact that it is close to the public library that uses the phrase, "you belong here," is really meaningful. I'm proud to be a part of the library board that Councillor Knoll chairs, but the fact that the crossing is going to be close to the library and really speaks to the inclusion that we so emphasize as part of our town, and in particular at the library. I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to see this come to life. And thanks to the teenagers who really raised their hand and reminded us that this symbolism matters.
Thank you, Councillor. It was very heartening when I spoke to the other BIAs to discover that all of our BIAs welcome all customers. And so with that, may I put the vote? No, Councillor Palmer.
Sorry, Your Worship. I mean, we're talking about all the projects, so I just thought that I would also make some comments that we're really excited about the North Park plans coming forward. It's been long awaited in our community, and I know it'll certainly be appreciated by all of the wards that are connected in North Oakville, and we're really looking forward to it. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, I'm going to call the vote. I think they just let me do that now. Are there any objections? Madam Clerk, there's no objections. The motion is carried. Thank you, everybody, and congratulations to us all.